Hello and welcome to the Best Champions Podcast. I, as always, am your host, Mike Masilotti. This is a podcast about everything with friends who know nothing. Sitting with me today, we got, as always, Rashad on the ones and twos. Give it up for Rashad. We also got Elliott GB, a blank chair that Willie should be in, and JJ Whitehead. Elliott GB, where can people find you?
You can find me on all platforms at Grent Radish, GrentRadish.
Bong bong. JJ?
JJ Whitesnake on most platforms. If not, then my correct name.
Cool. So, yeah, Willie should be here, but Willie, not only did I check in with him last night, I wrote Willie, I can't even say what time of night I checked in.
Oh, get him.
I said 10 a.m. He's or 4:22. You down to do the pod tomorrow? I got GB and JJ on. Goes, sounds fun. What time again? Just boom. 10 a.m.
I love that. Yeah.
Did he respond once you told him what time?
I'll get the promo stuff now. Dope! Exclamation point. This is what dope! Exclamation point looks like, you guys. That's kind of what it looks like.
If
so.
you vote for Willie, this is what you're voting for.
This is what you get.
This is what dope looks like to Willie.
And you know what? We're doing this on time for y'all. You know, I'm trying to do this every Tuesday. We missed last week because of technical difficulties. I was in Oklahoma City for the last 12 days, or Oklahoma for a minute. So it was a little rough to get. I'm trying to share this, by the way. This is a fucking nightmare. What's up, Andy Southern? He says, "Yo, friends." But
what up, Andy?
But yeah, I don't know. So we've been gone for a week. This isn't gonna happen again. I'm gonna film one of these, put it in the barrel, the bucket. That's what sucks about doing a live pod. Yeah. You put it in the can.
The bucket.
Same.
Put it in the bucket.
I think usually the bucket's when you're throwing some shit out.
Yeah.
We're gonna put it in the bin.
Yeah, that is true.
Get hopeful.
You gotta put one in the can. So yeah, if you guys are checking out this podcast for the first time, please like it. Please subscribe, share. We do this every Tuesday at 10 a.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. I didn't know there's 4 time zones, and
there's more than 4.
Well, here
you're talking about you're just being self-centered of America. There's 4 times.
That is true. I never thought of that.
You just wrote off the rest of the world.
That's only 4 times.
Well, there's 4 time zones that actually matter.
Yeah,
and then the rest.
I think everything else is just Greenwich or something. I think that's it for all others.
I do get mad when it always says Cupertino for the West Coast because Apple's out of there, and it's like no one knows. Like, just put LA or something. Let's not be fancy. You know what I mean?
What does Cupertino mean?
Do you only know that because you're setting up an iPad?
First of all, I don't know how to use it yet. That's why it's not shared on my fucking page. But no, Cupertino, that's where the Apple factory is out of, and everything is like set up through Cupertino first. I don't fucking know. Whatever. Yeah. Very exciting, you guys.
I just know it started in Greenwich. That's it.
Yeah.
But also,
what started in Greenwich?
Also, you just
time.
Here, turn the mic a little bit more toward you.
Also, look, I just did it. I did the swinging.
You're moving, man.
I'm going to make a point.
You're making good points.
I love these arms. And another thing. I was going to say also, there's more than 4 time zones in North America as well. I just remember.
Really?
Because
like Hawaii? Are you
well, no, I'm from Nova Scotia, and I almost forgot. Atlantic is another time. We're actually an hour behind New York.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so there's Atlantic, which is
I'm
not. I guess Maine isn't. Maine must be on the same time zone as New York. I guess. I don't know. Maine's right. You go to Maine and you turn right, and you're at my parents' place, basically. But that's another time zone. And then Newfoundland has. They're only a half an hour. They got like this retarded time zone off to the coast. They're only a half. They couldn't decide.
Well, it's like Arizona is like, we're not doing it. Arizona straight up will not.
It's time to stop.
Yeah, right?
Isn't it? Like, we can figure it out. Oh, it got dark earlier. Ooh.
I'm nervous that we're going to stop the wrong time, and we're going to stop with it staying dark early. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to be like, okay,
it doesn't work that. We're not stuck in darkness. It's like, oh, shit, we shouldn't have done it at 2 a.m. Damn it. Why did we stop time now?
That would be like a Simpsons episode. Like Homer's in charge of ending daylight savings, but he gets the memo late, so he's just like, I'll just do it right now. And they're like, no.
I can see that.
I'm going to go write that spec script. I'll be right back.
Well, Willie is, you know what's funny? I was going to say hopefully he has a reason to not be here. If Willie's driving, remember that car accident he got in earlier this year?
Yeah.
A tire flew on the highway from across the lanes over to his car and just collapsed the whole roof of his car.
Oh, man.
So this dude like literally almost died in a car accident. So I bet he's just driving right now like 3 miles an hour, just like freaking out.
If that's not happening, fucking.
Yeah, you know what? if your roof is okay right now, Willie, fuck
if
you,
you're not
bro.
actively in an accident, you're an asshole.
Yeah, he must think he's the
prick.
luckiest guy on the planet. That's a near call.
Yeah, it's pretty bullshit. He did. I'm surprised he actually made it, to be honest. I'm just saying. I'm
Tell us
surprised.
how you really feel, man.
Well, it's because he said the only reason he survived is because the way he sits in his car. He leans back a lot. Because the whole side of his car was, in. So if he didn't sit so lean back,
okay, all right,
he would be done, bro.
I'm trying
That's
to picture his car compared to other people. So he's just cranked.
I'm gonna see if I can.
He's like full length.
All you can see is knuckles.
Yeah.
Basically, it's him and most old ladies. They all drive. It's just knuckles up on a steering wheel, and they're all just leaning back.
Instead of the backup cam, he has the forward cam. So he just lays back and he looks at the dashboard, and that's the camera there, and he just drives like that.
Yeah. And it's only going to get worse now because he's thinking he's got to avoid falling tires.
Yeah.
Oh,
or
bro,
screw tires, so something else will kill him. It'll be low.
It'll be a low.
Yeah.
It's rough having him in the car when you're driving around because he's in the back seat constantly like like
it is
freaking
funny
out.
because the first time I drove with him when I moved here, I like forgot about that, and he jokes around so much that I was like, he's just fucking around, being like like that.
Yeah.
But then he was like, no, I have like PTSD, and I was like,
Oh, really?
oh.
I'm trying to find
My
this
brother
picture.
doesn't drive, and because a lot of my family, we like to say that his wife won't let him. But it's for that reason. Apparently, my brother justifies it by saying she's one of those passengers that she's so tense and hitting the invisible brakes and panicking all the time that he has to always let her drive because he's a better passenger. But still, on the surface, I'm always to my brother, I'm like, dude, it's like your wife won't let you drive.
Yeah.
And
That's rough.
But it's but it's a fair. I guess he says that she's really hard.
I mean, that's
hard
crazy.
work. I didn't mean to say hard work, but she's really difficult in the passenger seat.
I mean, that's great. Like, how bad of a passenger would you have to be?
Exactly. You must be going crazy on those air brakes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
your feet must be slamming almost through the floor that you're like, all right, look, you drive. Because I can handle the stress of
It's
going
like if
40 miles an hour.
someone was like, fuck, I feel like there's a phrase for it, but like in like the captain's chair trying to give directions and shit all the time. Like, that's annoying, or they're like critiquing.
Oh, yeah.
Co-pilot.
Co-pilot. Yeah.
Backseat drivers.
I was going to say armchair pilot, but that's not. It's an armchair quarterback.
He's like an armchair
Armchair pilot would be great. Just a guy who's watching like navigation shows at home. And, like armchair quarterback is a guy yelling at sports, but the armchair maybe you're watching old war movies. Like, no, fly.
Speaking
dog fight.
2 clicks left.
Speaking of, I fucked my YouTube algorithm so bad accidentally.
Mine's pretty weird now.
Dude, I clicked one. There was something that I was like looking into. I typed in Kobe Bryant, just random shit, and then there was like this flight channel has like a simulation. It's all like 3D. Like they showed you the path that his helicopter went on. They have like it's like a whole thing. So like, all right, I'll watch this. So we watched it. And it was fine. It was like nothing that gnarly. It was all like digital. And they just explained like what happened and why. But then after that, half of the videos they recommended me are plane crashes. And it is a night. My girlfriend's like, get this shit off our fucking algorithm. And it's like, I don't know what to do, honey.
Yeah.
I clicked way too many. Like, I clicked one helicopter crash video.
It's terrible, isn't it?
all it
I've done that. I've had to do it writing on a political comedy show because I have to research other opinions. So I'll watch like a Tucker Carlson say something idiotic or whatever, and then I'll leave it playing because I'll leave the house or something.
Yeah.
And I come back and it's really fucked up the algorithm because it's played like a whole bunch of Fox News and
Do you make like a burner account?
and then it just suggests all the time. I should probably think it out like better, but no, I've just kind of. I bet you if people look at my search history, they're like, "Is this guy a Nazi? What the hell is he watching?"
That is funny to make a burner account just for like
Just to see how bad it can get.
Yeah. That is Ari Shaffir, I guess, did this one thing where he made an account and only clicked puppy videos just to see, and all he got was puppy videos. So
crazy how that works.
Yeah,
huh?
but that's what he's saying. So a lot of people that have crazy shit on their YouTube and they're complaining, it's like you did this to yourself.
Yeah, but it might have been just once though.
That's true.
That's the thing. It's
That
like
is
you
true.
just click one and
We
you're like,
we did it on the Jim Jeffries Show. We did the trail of how easily you end up down the rabbit hole. So we started with something that's kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
And then we just clicked one of the suggestions that was more to the right, and then before you know it, you're like 2 clicks away from like it's like a serious conspiracy video.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take many.
It's hard because I look up conspiracy videos sometimes and they're hard to find. And I'll type in the title like something conspiracy.
Show me some crazy shit.
Yeah, and it doesn't do it a lot.
Yeah. I feel like I wish they'd let us make up our own minds.
Just sort of influence.
Here's some more crazy shit for you. Like I just wanted 5 minutes of crazy shit.
Or like check in.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, you still into this, or
or do you really want to watch music videos?
Yeah. Well, it should be like they should track when you're watching these things. So it's like if it's like 3 a.m. on a Saturday, like you probably don't want to see it every day. You know? It's just kind of like you're just taking a little trip. You're gonna come back. You know.
Yeah, we should be able to check into YouTube with a mood checker. How do you feel today?
Yeah, are you mad today?
Drunk.
Yeah,
I'm
are you
drunk.
angry? Do you feel fucked over today? Do you know?
Yeah, I feel sad. Half the time I'm on there too, I'm just bored, and then it's the word. Like I'll click on just something that it's all thumbnail. That's whenever people are like going on, it's like just make a dope thumbnail because that's half of the time. Like and it'll be some guy like in front of his fucking kitchen just be like, what's up, Knicks fans? This is me, Mark. And I'm just like, this asshole. But I watch it for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, fuck it. I'll listen, Nick. You got me, Mark, whatever.
My the algorithm for my podcast, YouTube, the older kids, check it out. That one, because I'll upload shit and then I'll just look at like the analytics and then I'll go back to the home and sometimes I'll forget that I'm on that account. So it's like it's like some Call of Duty like shit, a lot of fight videos. Street beefs. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that.
Street
beefs is like
I
classic.
have an idea of what that might be.
It's like straight up backyard like fighting, but it's like these people have beef, so we're gonna get them in the backyard and they're gonna settle it. You know.
Okay.
Like Kimbo Slice kind of shit?
Kind of Kimbo Slice,
and
but
is it
like more
people's court rules where they've signed off the rights. Like,
yes.
like this is the decider.
Yeah, like this is it. You're gonna fight here.
We're foregoing our legitimate public fight and we're settling it.
And some of these people are legit like trying to be fighters, and other ones are just literally like, I don't like this bitch Tina, so I'm gonna fuck her up. And,
that's the best.
Oh, and they're fucking insane. All right.
Does somebody own the brand? Is it trademarked?
Yeah, it's like an actual. It's fucking big. Like they have millions of views on these videos. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine bum fights used to be huge.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah.
Speaking of fucking bum fights, kinda. This is the stretch.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't wait to see how this is connected.
Homelessness. I am almost homeless.
I shouldn't be pushing the cart. That's my fault. But no, I went. So I was in Oklahoma City last week, and I shot guns for the first time.
Oh.
And everyone in his gun store. First of all, I'm like, I've never been this is out of my just comfort zone. So I walk into this room and there's just guns all over the wall. Everyone knows what the fuck they're doing, but everyone looks like the people you don't want with guns. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like very like Elmer Fudd-ish vibe.
Which is funny because like to those people, to us, that's a certain way. To those people, that's a completely different look.
Oh, dude.
Ill-fitting jeans and New Balance shoes? Yeah. Sign me up.
Dude, it was brutal. I've never seen so many Tweety Bird jerseys in my life. There was a lot of like, there was a lot of Looney Tunes kind of gear on. It was a lot of like this
airbrushed Looney Tunes?
No.
Wow.
Like
you know
NASCAR,
like,
more of the NASCAR Looney Tunes.
I'll say like Burlington.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like the mall, that one store in the mall. You're like, how do they stay open? And like, what airbrush, whatever shirt you want.
Yeah.
Any cartoon character.
You want it, we'll fucking brush it, baby.
Right.
But they're like, any gun you want to rent in here is $15. And I'm just like, all right. And they're trying to like make me rent these giant guns. I'm like, I've never shot a gun before. So I'm like shook as hell. So I go into the back room. We used to get pistols. And I go into this back room and instantly some guy like a stall over is just emptying this clip. And dude, my body, I felt like I was getting shot. Like I was in there like, ah!
Right,
like
you can feel the percussion kind of.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And instantly like I couldn't, like I've only scuba dived once like in a pool. And I remember like as you're breathing underwater, your body's fighting. Yeah, it is in a pool. First of all, it is scuba diving.
It's
homie,
beginners scuba diving.
It's homie.
Like,
I had a scuba
for
tank.
Sure
I've only been fishing once.
I
in
can
a pool.
swim. I've had a bath.
Well, listen, bro. I had a tank on and flippers. What is that? I looked like Scuba Steve.
Pool swimming.
That's
wait a
fucking
minute.
cosplay,
Fucking
bro.
learning how to
this
swim in a pool.
But I'm just curious though, because they teach you in this pool, and then you're supposed to move into the ocean.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So
I got stuffed at the pool.
You got stuck in the shallow end of scuba training.
My ears hurt, man.
Dude. Dude, my poor man.
I picture all of them doing their thing. They're getting out of the deep end. They're like, all right, guys, now we're going to go to the ocean. Mike's just standing in the
Except for-
shallow end,
Yeah.
just looking at him.
Mike, you're good.
Where are you guys going?
Yeah.
You keep
They're like,
practicing.
yeah, you watch the pool. Okay, I'll stay here.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I never graduated.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
you
what?
did.
You know what? Fuck you
You
guys.
because I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but you can ditch the tank and you can snorkel in the pool. You can be all right. You ever hold your breath underwater? It'll
can
blow your
freestyle.
mind. It's,
Yeah.
it's possible. It's
You know
totally
what?
Possible.
You know what, man? It was hard. That's the worst part. It was really hard. They kept putting weights on me because I kept floating up.
Oh my God! It's almost like forcing a blowjob, teaching you to scuba dive. Get
For
under
real. Like then my
the
legs
water.
would would
Come
start going up.
on.
And they had to put stuff on my ankles to like just balance me underwater.
I guarantee they're holding you under and looking at each other like, what the fuck? Who is
This
this?
has never happened before.
I bet you this guy has never shot a gun before. Never.
Yeah, man, it was rough. It was not the
And then
easiest.
you come up and they're like, whoa, good job, buddy.
I did. You know what? That was funny because after that I went to Hawaii and we were supposed to go scuba diving, but
Yeah,
instead
you were supposed to.
I-
know
We're
this
supposed to
is
go scuba diving. Mike's like, all right, where's the pool? Where are we at here? Looking
like-
at the ocean like, okay, that's cool, but
yeah, is this the shallow end of the ocean or is this?
we do it above ground or below ground? What are we talking?
So they were like, all right, we're gonna get snorkels. This will be easier.
Yes.
It was hard as hell.
We're gonna get snorkels. It'll be
Did
easier.
you get? Because you do
I'm
need, you need a
swallowing
rhythm.
water.
Though. Yeah,
Dog,
you do
I'm
need the rhythm
I was
to spit
swallow-
the water out.
100%. And I'm sitting there with I had an iPhone or an iPod Touch with a video camera in this waterproof case. So I can't see anything. I'm breathing in water. I'm like, you know what? At least this
you just
camera.
filmed yourself drowning.
I just tried to film cool stuff to make it look like I was enjoying myself. And I was just basically I'm like half drowning this whole time. And my brother, like, I'm running into coral. Bro, I destroyed like 3 miles of coral. Just roughing this shit. Like, when they talk about that shit going, it's dudes like me that should not be.
yeah.
Dude, this is my souvenir from Hawaii. You see
Oh,
that,
for
see
real?
that massive scar?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's coral. That's the.
Oh, wow.
You see that puppy?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
right there, and it comes down. This is a whole flap
Oh,
on the.
it's sharp, man.
On the coral.
Don't
and
fucking
my
tell
girl,
me like you guys were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sharp. I
I
saw
was-
some guy really cut himself.
I was actually snorkeling. So I was snorkeling, but it was close to the coral, and I had my ex-girlfriend just yelling at me from the shore. You're too close to the coral. And I'm like, shut up.
Like,
And then,
I know.
And then eventually I put my hand up on something because the part that was out, because I didn't realize how fucking sharp. Like it's sharp under the water.
Dude.
But hold it. I just put it up, and then boom, I'm just bleeding everywhere. And the coral's like a barrier, but the blood's all in the water, and she's yelling at me, the sharks. And I'm like, sharks are not coming to get me.
Suck up the blood.
Yeah, you're just
You're
sitting
gonna
there.
let the sharks
It would have
in.
been great if some ravenous shark comes over the coral barrier.
like
to
Free
come and
Willy
get me.
style.
Yeah, like this is some good blood. I got
Yeah,
going
he's like,
there.
ooh.
So that's my little souvenir. So I understand.
Yeah, man,
I
it's sharper
understand
than it looks, bro. My knees were all scuffed up. I'm just kneeing the. Dude, it was rough, man.
You got out. You're like, this never would have happened in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was crushing that.
Dude, I had the iPod, and then I'm filming everything, and then I put it in my pocket, and I just start trying to swim around, get back. I get back to the shore, the shit's gone.
Yeah.
Completely gone, fell out of my pocket. So I'm just bummed. But I'm sitting there on the shore in Hawaii. It's gorgeous. I'm just like bummed. I lost my like $300 iPod. Luckily, my brother's all
This
tattooed.
is the worst scuba diving experience
Yeah.
ever.
Listen to this though. My brother's got like his face tattooed. He looks like you could pick him out easily, right?
If he's got his face tattooed, I imagine.
Very
Well,
yeah.
but if he's in a room with other people who have face tattoos,
Well, okay, that
Yeah,
very,
depend
very true.
in
but
a
he does
non
have one that just says Mike's brother, so that helps.
that helps. Does help a lot. But someone else that was scuba diving or snorkeling found the camera. They opened it, went through the videos, and they were like, "Oh, this site. They know this guy."
Oh yeah, this is the guy who's drowning. This is him.
Yeah, it's Mike. Hey,
But then-
all right.
Someone went over to me and they were like, "Hey, I think we found your iPod," and I fucking flipped out and was so happy, and then ended up losing it before I uploaded the footage on my computer.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
in regular life. So
Oh wow.
wasn't meant to be.
A double loss.
Yeah.
Just picturing them
That's
bringing
terrible.
it, you sitting there on the beach, just like, and then they bring it over, and you're like, ah, you start like jumping
Yeah, oh,
around. You're
dude.
like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And your brother's like, be cool, dude.
Yeah, no, it was embarrassing. It was very embarrassing. But I didn't have the best time. But yeah, back to when I was the shooting.
Oh yeah, shooting.
So so instantly when I'm shooting the guns, like it felt like so next to me the guy that it's just loud as fuck, bro. This is even the people that were with me were like, he's shooting like a really loud gun. And the whole time, I just see this scene of a movie where this guy turns around and just fucking murks us all. So every time I hear a gunshot, I'm just fucking flinching. My hands couldn't be shaking any harder, and I'm trying to look badass in front of these dudes. And the two guys I'm with shoot all the time. They got these giant guns.
Yeah.
I got this tiny little gun, and I'm bro, so shook. So I'm only shooting like 1 or 2 bullets at a time. Like, I shot 4 and I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, dude, we got 50 bullets for each of us.
What's the so I haven't shot like a handgun, whatever we call that. I've shot shotguns.
Ooh, there you go.
Shotguns and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious of the
it was more
kickback on those puppies.
First of all, my hands were sweating so bad.
Oh,
the
God.
first shot, I felt the gun like shift in my hand,
Oof.
and I was so nervous, dog.
Yeah, that
I
would
bet. Yeah.
Like, so I kept like
yeah.
what? Because I was just so like, and then my buddy's gun actually has like. It had like a sandpapery kind of grip, and I was like, I'm shooting your gun.
Ooh,
Because
he's accessorized it.
Yeah.
He pointed at you and said, "Give me your gun."
He tried to scrape off the serial number, and he's just like, I actually gave it some grip too, but I was just using his. But it was gnarly, man. It was not like the first shot I had. I was like, oh, this is what changed the world. Like you could feel like this isn't like I'm not anti-guns, but it's also
That was pretty deep.
well, not that many
This
people
is
need
what
this.
changed the world.
But-
I hold revolution.
No, but dude, for real, I had like a flash of like, A, I get why it's so powerful, and B, not everyone needs this shit. It was insane. I'm seeing kids, bro, like young kids are in the range shooting this gun, and they're like and I get, the knowledge with it. It's better to
Yeah.
know than not know, because
Yeah.
I feel better around guns now, but still, I don't like. I'm far from like. I'm not gonna buy a gun. I'm not gonna feel good with this thing.
Well, Mike,
Yeah,
look under your chair, buddy. I bought you a gun.
Woo!
Yeah.
You
goes
get a
on.
gun,
Yeah.
and you get a gun. No, I feel that way too. I don't think I'd feel safer with a gun in my house. It wouldn't. I'm one of those mentalities. But that's why I asked you about the kickback thing, because not that
yeah.
this isn't a funny place to go, but you've seen that Uzi footage of the little girl and the guy's.
Oh, yeah,
and
it
the
hit-
Uzi
yeah.
kicks back, and then the video cuts out because the guy got killed. Showing this girl how to shoot the Uzi, and the kickback was so bad that it kicks back.
Oh,
and
like he was standing like over her?
Yeah, he's standing over her shoulder or whatever, and the kickback goes back and then shoots him. And then
It was
and I
more of
don't
a
think-
kickback than I thought. I'll be
Right?
honest.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
gun, I didn't, because I shot a shotgun when I was a kid, and you could feel like it's in your shoulder. But this is like,
It's all in your hands. And
Yeah.
It just goes up.
oof, and it was, that's nuts,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
And
man.
you know what's funny too is I didn't notice this until we were done shooting. The guy that was with
I
us,
peed myself.
there's shit everywhere.
Hilarious.
Yeah. No, but there's like the one guy we were with points it out. He's like, dude, there's like bullet holes like on like if you look at the ceiling like on our side.
Some like near misses and stuff.
I
You're
mean,
like,
talking
this is-
like some guy might have just put
Yeah.
above where you shouldn't ever be shooting.
Yeah.
And then there's like I'm looking around the room, bro, and like the pole behind us has it looked like a ricochet shot. And I'm like, where are we shooting into? Like, what if it bounces? Like,
Yeah.
there's a pole.
Yeah, that's a
in
good question.
Right?
Maybe the staff just have lock-ins. Like just like bar staff as well, but they're like, all right, the public's gone home.
Yeah.
Woo!
As
Let's
soon
go
as the last person
crazy.
leaves,
And
they
then-
lock the door. They
Yeah.
just
Everyone-
turn.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Let's just
We
shoot the
ready?
place up, baby.
Hey, I'm gonna Elmer Fudd it. Everyone lay down. And you just start bang, 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 bang.
Oh, that was so cool. One person's on the ground.
But it was fucking terrifying, and it was very affordable though. The bullets were expensive.
Very affordable.
Terrifying, but you should sell guns.
And go to
Terrifying,
George's Gun Barn.
but
Yeah.
affordable.
But it was one of my they told like earplugs in or whatever. One of my earplugs kind of fell out, and my ear
Ooh.
was ringing that entire. Like I got out of the thing and I was like, "Are your guys' ears ringing real bad?" And everyone looked at me like, "No." I was like, "Yeah, mine aren't either." Like, I hope I didn't just destroy my
mind.
destroy my ear, but well.
Oh man.
But yeah, it was fun, but also at that point where I'm more afraid of guns.
Yeah.
After knowing that, because like they're showing me these different bullets and like, oh, this bullet there's one called fuck, what's it
The
called?
Destroyer-nator.
Dude, it's something ridiculous.
The cop killer.
Oh my god, it's called
Bets.
the RIP.
Oh.
It's called the RIP bullet, dog, because
Well, that's polite. What a nice what a nice thing to say to somebody you're killing.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Well, there also is the fuck you bullet.
Yo, can you
which
pull up
it's a little ruder.
Now that would
Yeah.
be yeah.
Rashad, can you pull up the RIP bullet and put it on the screen? This shit is brutal. So they're showing me all these different bullets and what they do and like whatever. I'm just like, first of all, the first bullet that you guys are showing me looks like it's good enough.
Right.
Like just the
If
regular.
it looks like a bullet, I'm gonna trust it.
I
Dog,
think it'll
100
do the trick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then my buddy's like, well, I got a bunch of these hollow points because they do this, and then these mushroom head out. And then one of the guys at work there was like, you guys hear about these RIP bullets? And the two guys I was with were like, oh, yeah. And I was like, no, I've never. No.
Oh yeah.
See, these all sound like things that would justify a zombie apocalypse. Like, that's all I could see using them on. If we could have
Yeah.
a zombie apocalypse,
Yeah.
then the four of us could just be on a rooftop somewhere exchanging bullets. Let me try one of those RIPs. Let's see how it spirals
Okay.
open this guy's head.
So this thing,
Jesus.
when you shoot it, so
That feels
teeth.
necessary.
yeah, throw this up for the crowd too. When you shoot it,
Does
all of these open up, so it hits
Of
you
course.
like it just. They say it like rips you to pieces, and it's called the
Yeah.
RIP stands for something.
They should edit out the P part, the piece.
It's called it's called a radically invasive projectile.
Oh, well, that's very misleading. You bullet namers. You
Yeah.
bullet namers out there.
then also-
You've been very misleading there.
It also makes it sound like it's just what the bullet does. Like no matter where you shoot it, it will find you because it's radically invasive. This is a very invasive
It
species.
sounds like you could throw it. This puppy.
They got
it
the
doesn't-
box. They're like, don't open the box too big. You gotta
They
peek
are
in.
they are radically invasive.
They're gonna ask you about religion and politics. Just really invasive.
You open the box. Who'd you vote for?
Oh shit, this
Oh.
is super invasive, man. All right. But yeah, just the fact that they're like a regular bullet will kill someone, no doubt. It's got this is the
No doubt. You heard it here first.
Yeah,
All
You
right.
guys don't know bullets are bad, but no, like this shit's the kind of stuff where you're like, do we need like what is this? This is insanity,
Yeah,
bro.
it is at a
Yeah.
certain point. It's like
This is like Terminator shit. This is
Yeah.
like if you have
I
to.
think it's what we call overkill.
Here we go.
We're in it now, guys. Oh man, do we have any stories by the way from last week or this week we pull up?
I have a story. I was woken up at 6 a.m. this morning by a fucking helicopter.
Were you really?
Yeah, because semi flipped over onto an SUV
Did it?
on the 5 south.
What?
Like
And
4
do you
blocks from my
live-
place.
4 blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the helicopter flew over. They were just like, dude, you're going to want to hear about this.
He's like, everybody in West Hollywood, listen to this.
Well, I live in Hollywood off the 101,
okay.
like 2 blocks in. So I'm in escape land. So I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
helicopters all the time. Like
Yeah.
few times it's been quite clear that I have somebody on foot in
running
That's
around.
in my
terrifying.
block radius because the choppers are up there and the spotlights
Yeah,
down
yeah,
around
yeah.
my building, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go in my apartment now.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I've heard them before, and I'm not like shocked by it, but
Yeah.
it like woke me up. And then I heard sirens. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever.
yeah.
Then 15 minutes later, it's still there, and I'm like, okay, they're running around. 10 more minutes later, it's still there, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're
and it's
hiding
like, but it's like
somewhere.
loud, so it's like close. So I was like, what the fuck? Then after like 45 minutes, I got on Twitter and saw that the
Yeah.
semi overflipped, and I was like, oh shit.
I've got an awkward alleyway between our 2 buildings on my side of the road. There's this awkward kind of alleyway, and it's fenced in the middle too. So there's 2 sides, but I think it's perfect for a getaway. So I'm like, it's one of these nights.
Yeah.
I know.
gonna see a
I know
getaway.
some dude's gonna
You're gonna hear
run
some-
when the choppers are overhead. I know it's coming.
Yeah, I heard some shit when I lived in so I'm from Madison, Wisconsin,
Yeah.
and I used
Shout
to
out
Lovely-
to the
lovely
shout out
town.
to the
M-
MWBs.
MWBs,
You been
man.
there?
Very pretty city. Yeah, we've been there a few times.
Oh, to the club?
A lot. Yeah. Well, I tour with Jim Jeffries, so
Oh, yeah.
and Madison loves them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
Madison's fucking dope.
remember specifically like your Parliament buildings and the just the sight lines right down.
I've never been
Yeah,
there.
Mike, I'm starting to like him more than you. You gotta say
Hey.
some shit about Madison here.
Really pretty town.
Well,
Yeah, so
Popcorn or something as well.
popcorn. Yeah, there's hella popcorn.
guys
So
love
State. So you're
popcorn?
thinking of State Street. There's like the Capitol,
Right.
and then that
He
big
made it
shops
sound
and
so
shit.
not cool. He's like, Madison, right? Popcorn? You guys do
Yeah,
popcorn, right?
well, there's a level
He's
of
been
truth to
there.
this because one time we were there and everything was shut down. I was starving. We had just got in. How far is it? Maybe it was Green Bay that we were in as well. Or is that? Is
Oh,
that
Green
Packers.
Bay's up north.
Oh, okay. But anyway,
guess.
we had come in from somewhere. We were really hungry, and I walked all around Madison because it's I guess maybe you're a government town or something, or it's but it was
this?
really dead except for a popcorn place.
Was it?
and everybody on the streets was like, oh yeah, popcorn. They all acknowledged it. And I was like, all right, I guess
Yeah.
I guess lunch is popcorn.
Yeah. Possibly. I mean, we do have like popcorn shops.
Yeah, you guys are into it.
on
You're
State
into it.
Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're thinking of State Street, which
Right,
is like
yeah.
the Capitol, and then
That's
that one with like all
hilarious.
the shops and
Yeah.
shit. So I used to live right off of there,
Right on.
right off State Street, but it was actually on State Street. But my building, I was on like the back side, so it was like the building, my apartment, and then like a tiny parking lot, and then two parking garages. So it was like no one was really going between, and there was like a little alley in between the two to get out to a main street. And so I was sitting there one night, I was like working on something on my computer, and I had my window open, and I just heard like, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Somebody sucking nipples outside or something?
Somebody getting away on a pogo stick.
I look out, I'm like, what the fuck? And so there's like a little parking lot that's like literally can fit like 5 cars, and then a little garage, and then like a little alley that leads to a dead end that has a couple bars on it. And so there's like, you can go from there along one of the parking garages down the long side. So I hear that and I look out and I'm like, what the fuck? And all of a sudden I just see this frat dude in like cargo shorts, flip flops, and a polo just fucking running.
Oh, and there was a sound.
Yeah, and it was his flip flops, but he was like running, and I'm like, what the fuck is he? But so think about like someone in flip flops, like actually like sprinting, like that's not something you see, but also it's like, so you're like, what the fuck? I'm like, what is he doing? And he goes and he like rounds the corner, and I'm like, huh? And then I just see 2 cops just right behind him, full speed sprinting. I was like, oh,
There
like,
is-
good on this guy.
I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I see someone running from the cops, my first instinct is always like, fucking go, like, get out of here.
yeah.
Like, I'm always rooting for the guy.
Yeah.
And then I always,
But if he was in flip flops, I'd probably root against him.
Oh no, I was all for him because he was making good time. Right, I was like, and he ran into one of the parking garages, and then I saw all the cars go, and they were trying to find him. So that's where I was like, I think he gave him the slip.
Genius. Did
Yeah.
you see during all the BLM stuff, my favorite was this guy that had his hands zip tied and he's just sitting down, and then out of nowhere he gets up and a car pulls up and he, dude,
Oh, yeah.
head first dives,
Dolphin dives, yeah.
misses the first shot, and then as a cop is, on his ankles, he just dives right into the window, and his buddy drives off, and then the cops just like, fuck, and they kind of walk back to the group. It's like, that was the dopest getaway I've seen in my life.
That's awesome.
Bro, it was...
I thought it was just a stranger's car. It wasn't like it's a buddy. Oh, so it was a calculated thing.
Yeah.
I thought the dude just like any car.
That's
in.
the genius about the friends, is you see your buddy with his hands tied up, and that's a good friend to like circle the block, kind of make eye
Roll
contact
the
with
window
you.
down. What if they did all that, forgot to roll down the window?
Just smash.
They're like, sorry.
Knocked himself
I
out.
also wonder what you would say if your car was immediately stopped.
Yeah.
With the guy in the back.
I don't know this
Would
guy.
yeah, I just sorry,
Oh,
my
that's
windows
hilarious.
were down. Just
Yeah.
want some fresh air. I wasn't,
Yeah, it's illegal to be hot.
yeah. Well, I didn't.
Well, there was that chase here a few weeks ago, like maybe a month ago, that the cops just gave up on. Did you guys see that?
No.
There was this. It was on the news. The news chopper was following this guy. He stopped for gas twice.
Oh, okay. Is this the guy who went under the underpass? And because I did see one.
He
see,
stopped
this
for
It
gas?
happens
I
a
don't
lot,
know.
doesn't it? Okay, you do it because I
Well,
saw one the other
yeah,
day.
he stopped for gas, got like one. He stopped for gas, got 1 gallon, and then at a second place stopped again and like asked people for money to get what. And the news chopper's following him. The dude is
and
like
the cops
reporting.
can't find the guy.
The cops like aren't. They're like kind of chasing.
You know what
him.
they are?
They're
They're
kind of not.
defunded.
That's not the
Mike
guy who had kids in his car, is it?
Huh?
Did he have? Is he the guy that had kids in his car? I've watched too many of
I
these
don't
police
think-
chases.
So these are two different chases
I
in
don't
LA.
think
This is
so.
in LA.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is. But the
it's
cops
on
like
all the
literally
time.
they just gave up. and the news guy was still following him. And he got to like, and this was like after an hour.
The dude's at Chuck E. Cheese and
He
shit.
got to like
inside.
one part, and he like went into like a parking garage or something, and the news guy is still there. He's like, all right, he's around here somewhere. I think that's him like walking out. And there's like, and their cops are nowhere to be found.
Oh my
And they're like
God.
scanning, and they're just showing no cops. And they're like, yeah, and we just got word they gave
It's
up.
like GTA. The stars start going down to 3.
Yeah,
to
for
2,
real, yeah.
to 1.
And the news guy is like, he's right there. Like he's right
Yeah.
there.
I was watching one. So, because they're always on the news, the 11 o'clock news.
I gotta watch the news more,
once a
man.
week, at least
Yeah.
once a week. The 11 o'clock news is interrupted with a car chase.
Oh
and
my
that becomes-
God, dude.
Yeah, totally. And but I was watching one recently, and it was Universal City is where it was going. So they were they were actually only a few stops from me. So I'm but he went off the highway on Universal City, and the choppers still follow him. And then you see him go under the underpass, and then he doesn't come out the other side. But I feel like only people watching noticed that because all the cops went
Smart.
past and were looking for it. And the chopper too swung the camera out, and I could just feel all the armchair pilots.
Armchair
Like,
pilots,
Oh
baby.
my God, we got the armchair pilots. All the armchair pilots, and I'm going, dude, no, fit your camera back. And so the chopper went like that, and I'm yelling. I'm sure the rest of the neighborhood was yelling. And then by the time the chopper put the camera back, we couldn't find him. The guy was gone.
Fuck yeah.
He like managed to evade.
Imagine
everybody.
being. I hope there was someone in the car who's like, "Yo, I'm just gonna stop under this underpass." Everybody's like, "Dude, it's never gonna work."
Yeah.
And then he just stops.
No way.
That's
Yeah,
insane,
so
dude.
that was my last attempt.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
That
then
is-
he's like, fuck, now I can't leave this underpass.
You know what's so? Yeah, because I always root for the criminals, and then when I'm watching these like shows of like all these cold cases and whatever, I'm
Right.
like, well. What if I'm rooting for one of these murderers that they're about
True.
to catch, and I just don't know that? And I'm like, get away! And I'm like tripping cops, like you. And then they come back, like, all right, we're trying to find this serial murderer, and it's
You're
like,
like,
ooh.
yeah, I thought he was a shoplifter.
Yikes.
Sorry.
Well, I was watching the thing about the Zodiac, and the cops, I guess, there was one time right after a murder, but they said it was a black male that committed the crime, and the cops stopped and they talked to the Zodiac dude, and for like
yeah,
a second, and then they just let him go, and they were like, well, we were looking for a black male. It's like, yeah, but you didn't see if you had blood, like check this dude out, and then that was like the only time was this weird fuck up of like,
Yeah,
What's what they do is-
they had a shot.
They hit,
Yeah.
they hit default accidentally on the. It's like just call out.
Yeah.
What is it? Just defaulted to the black male, which is bullshit, man. It could have caught Zodiac.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the 60s, too.
Yeah.
So it was like, they were like, yeah, of course it was a black guy.
Yeah.
But,
It's like yeah.
well, they did with Jeffrey Dahmer one time. One of his like victims escaped and was like running down the street naked, covered in blood.
Oh, yeah.
The cops picked him up,
And brought him back,
and then
right?
Jeffrey Dahmer convinced them to like give him back.
Oh my! He said it was like like this is like a sexual.
Yeah.
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 We're taking drugs.
He convinced him to give the victim back?
Yeah.
Which it was like
You're right.
It was like an underage male prostitute.
I heard this guy was charming, but I didn't know he had.
Oh, he had the gift of
that,
gab,
That
baby.
is some next
He had
level
the
Kavorka.
gift of
That,
gab.
that shit.
Yeah,
That's
he told
hilarious,
them it
dude.
was like some sex thing and whatever, and they were just I'm sure when he said it was a gay sex thing, they were just like, ugh, all right, like
Oh,
we
man.
don't. This is
Yeah.
80s whatever. We don't want to get involved with this, but yeah, and then
They- I know
and
they were-
then he fucking murdered the shit out of that person.
So
Yeah.
so when did? Okay, I don't like to. I don't mean to racial profile, but mostly white guys are serial killers.
True.
But when did we know that? When did we start knowing that? Then
I feel like it's still
That's-
not an accepted fact.
You know what I think? Can I
Really?
tell you what I think? A lot of it is that a lot of it. And this is I'm just thinking of this right now off the top of my head. So if this works, I'm a genius. If it doesn't, I'm a dummy. But they say a lot of serial killers have really bad relationships with their mothers, and
right.
a lot of black kids have. All my friends that were growing, their moms like their best friends. For real, right?
Okay.
No?
Can I just
No,
clarify my
'cause I'm friends with
statement?
my-
But I love.
No, it's not. No, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
If anything, your pops are gone, and that doesn't do anything.
That's what I was waiting for.
There you go.
That's
No,
what
but
I was waiting
but for
for.
real though, a lot of my friends like that I know, like their moms are like their best friends, and my mom's like I don't know, like a Latin mom. She's more of like a disciplinarian.
I thought you were gonna
Right.
say my mom. I fucking hate.
Yeah,
So,
I hate
like,
I do want to clarify what I said because I did say white people are serial killers. What I meant to say, what I
That's
meant
fine,
to
dude.
say
Let
was,
it out.
what
It's
I
all
meant
good,
to
dude.
say was
This is a truth place.
most serial killers are white people.
Yeah.
It's a lot better that way around.
Well,
yeah, but I'll say all white people are serial killers.
But it is remember the DC sniper? I think Patrice had a
Yeah.
joke about that. Is everyone talked about how genius this guy was, and they found out it was like a black father and his son. They were then instantly it's just like, whatever happened to this genius dude. Everyone changed. That was the last time I remember bro. Like, you'd go get gas on the highway, and people were hiding behind their cars pumping gas.
Yeah.
That's terrifying, bro. A sniper, that is the craziest shit.
That was crazy. I don't think I lived here for that, but I think that was I was still in Britain, I think, but that was international.
I'll tell you, what year was that? 'Cause I feel like that wasn't.
That was like early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Damn,
so I
dude.
definitely didn't live here
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, that shit was insane.
But yeah,
Let's see.
when America makes, like, I'm sorry, America, but you don't make international news for good things.
Yeah,
very
sure.
often.
What?
Yeah, not sure if you're aware of this. But,
Florida's like,
It's very infrequently. Whereas smaller countries, it'll usually be because like New Zealand has defeated the coronavirus.
Yeah.
But not America is nurturing the coronavirus.
Well, yeah, the New Zealand thing, America sees everyone in New Zealand at a bar, and they're like, well, New Zealand's doing it, so we're going to do it. They're like, we didn't read the story.
How about this? Speaking of, the only way that we look at anything that fucking Proc Bar is doing, and that's his last name. I'm not being racist. You have to be.
Well, you did mispronounce it, I think.
All right.
Yeah, that's also his first name.
Oh, shit.
His last name's Reddy. Prabhakar.
That's rough. That's rough. It says martial artist uses his head to remove 68 bottle caps in 1 minute. And that's what you got to do in India for us to give a shit about what you're doing in India.
And yet,
You know what I'm saying?
more views than any stand-up comic. So what does that say?
Yeah, that's crazy. Prabhakar?
Prabhakar?
That's an H.
Where are you getting this N from?
I don't know. The H's Prabhakar Reddy used his head and a piece of wood. Come on. Attached at the end of the table to remove the caps from 68 bottles in 1 minute in Nellore, Andhra Pradesh. Where the fuck is
you
that?
You missed the N in that one.
You know
hey,
what, man?
It's a flexible N.
Yeah, it's a flex N.
So he used wood. So he's doing that thing where you put it on the side of the table.
Oh.
So
But he's
like hitting it with his head.
And he's doing 68 in a minute, so that's a little more than 1 a second. All right, so this guy's got a fucking really bad CT.
I was gonna say
CTE
that's a
or
pretty
whatever.
cool way to get CTE.
That's a funny way to like. After he dies, he's gonna shoot himself in the chest and be like, "Please examine my brain."
I've always wanted to have a bar trick. You know, that would be a good one. That would blow somebody's mind. What's your bar trick? You just
You're like, give me a piece of wood.
I feel like most things that get you laid at a bar is like shit that you'd be embarrassed, like magicians. That's the lamest thing. You see a magician at a bar, girls are like freaking the fuck out.
What bar do you go to?
What are you talking about? What bar I go
to? Like the Magic Castle?
I go to the. I do go to the
think
Improv.
you're
There's a bunch of there's a bunch of magician comics.
I think you're right though, because something quick cheesy magic trick in a crowd or at a party is far better than a thoughtful like those people who can do like there's really cool ones that like people who build matched houses and stuff and they light a side of it and the match ends up standing up or whatever. All that takes too much effort.
Yeah.
Because they're sitting there going, watch my bar trick.
And
by
got
then
your nose.
Yeah. And the girls are going, yeah, he got my nose.
Fuck me in?
Yeah, far better.
But it's true, man. Like I remember I was at a show and this dude he was a singer of a band and he just did a backflip and I instantly went to my buddy. I was like, how dumb is it? And he, as a guy, was like, oh, like
I want to fuck that guy.
Oh, this guy bad. And then after the show, every girl was talking to this dude, and I was like, if he didn't
and that's
fucking
when you
backflip,
were like,
I called my
I
nephew.
gotta learn how to backflip.
I called my nephew. I was like, yo, Ethan, how do you backflip?
Teach Uncle Mike how to flip.
Do you have a trampoline? Look at
there's
this.
you.
Magician performs 20 tricks underwater and breaks Guinness World Record.
This is like the perfect story for everything we talked about.
This is the story
the
for
magician.
today.
And you don't see around the pool are women just waiting to fuck him. They're just pacing like dogs.
Yeah, you don't see all the weights holding him by his hips down.
There's a lot of weights involved when you're scuba diving in a pool.
This is so funny. Guinness said that his successful attempt was the first time this record has been broken in more than 10 years because no one's trying.
Yeah.
Like, how many...
everyone forgot about it.
I was just going to say, was it his record? This does seem like the kind of hobby that only one guy does.
He's the only one keeping this alive.
He can break it every 10 years just for a little bit of publicity.
Oh, beating the previous record by 7 tricks.
Ooh. Wow. He's one up in that. He's like, get at it. This is that kind of shit that he's just probably going through because it said he also broke a Guinness Book of World Record for most cards identified in a minute trick. What? Most magic tricks
He
performed
held
in a
them up.
sky.
Ace of Hearts, but he's looking at Queen of Diamonds. Pass.
Yeah.
Does Joker count? Shit.
Yeah.
Some of these records are just
Who left the blank one
they've
in?
been fabricated at this point.
Dude, for real, he like it says he has the most magic tricks performed blindfolded in 1 minute, and the most magic tricks performed in a wind tunnel in 3 minutes.
Very few of these records are something that you would look up on improv,
Yeah.
like Untold. Like
Most magic tricks while getting hit by a car.
Yeah.
I mean, like, all right, ready? Go. Like, it's just stuff like that that's like, okay, my buddy's got a wind tunnel.
I was
That's all.
gonna say, who's ever been to a wind tunnel is like, man, I wonder how many tricks someone's ever done in one of these.
I bet you I could do more. All right, shout out real quick. Shout out Andy Southern, non-ZC, not sure who that is. And Alex Getlin, Rashad, Alex Davis, Skippy Sprinkles.
Skippy Sprinkles.
Skippy Sprinkles, not to be confused with Skippy Sparkles.
I can't tell if your parents named you well or poorly, Skippy.
I think he named himself, so it was a poor job.
Yes, I
Matt
guess.
Caro and Alex Padilla. Thanks for watching. And Skippy's hilarious because when Alex on another podcast accidentally called him Skippy Sparkles, and I looked it up on Facebook. There is someone named Skippy Sparkles on Facebook. So, let's not confuse the two. I wrote Skippy Sparkles and he didn't write me back, so I don't think he's a nice guy. The name doesn't match. So,
I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say he's not a nice dude.
Nan said, "How old were you when you went scuba diving in this pool?" I was like 27.
Yeah, that's recent enough.
I was definitely in my late 20s.
I just wouldn't have told the story.
Speaking of story, someone's wearing a hat for no reason today. So apparently no one in LA knows how to cut Elliott's hair.
For real. I am.
You got a haircut though?
I got a
I mean,
haircut.
I wasn't into haircuts before the pandemic.
I see. Here's the thing. I got a haircut in June.
Yeah.
All right. I moved here in May.
Well
got a
done.
haircut in June.
Yeah.
There was a place like a block away from where I lived that just one day I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna just get clean," because I get a very hairy neck. And so I went there, sat down with this dude. Whatever. Just walk in, sit down. He's cutting my hair. He's doing an interesting job. And I'm like,
That's not a way I would want to describe a
But
haircut.
here's the thing about
Doing
hair,
an
though.
Interesting.
but
job.
here's the thing is I always kind of notice it a little, not like a little late, but like the window is very small for being like, hold on, what are you doing? Stop. Because
Right.
once they get just like a tiny bit.
You don't like point to a picture in a.
I did show him a picture.
Okay.
I did.
And he's still.
Actually, here's the okay, this fucking dude. Here's the thing. I said I want a taper around the sides. That's what I usually get, a taper, and then take a little bit off the top. And he was like, okay, kind of argued with me about it. Like, that's not what I was saying. I showed him a picture, and he goes, oh, yeah, taper. And I'm like, that's what the fuck I said. But I'm like, whatever. So he's cutting it a little weird.
Fade, if you will.
But yes,
Okay.
correct. Thank you.
No problem.
And
For the layman.
so he's cutting it a little weird, but it's at a point where I'm like, well, I can't like say anything. I just got to let him finish
Now
that.
you're doing him a
so
favor.
it's even, right? Because if I tell him to stop, then whatever.
Yeah.
So then it's a Friday, and he goes, so what are you getting into tonight? Because he was like dancing to music, like trying to make me laugh, and I'm like, first off, I'm not a fucking 7-year-old.
Wow. What is
Like,
this? Where'd you go? Yeah, you go to Kids Cuts?
This
This is the last time I go to Kids Cuts, guys.
He's dancing around. I'm like, look, I don't appreciate it. I step out of the rocket ship, okay? I take it off. I still grab my piece of candy because I earned it.
I take off the Dumbo sleeve.
Yeah. I grabbed my toy from the chest because I didn't cry. And no, but so he goes, what are you doing tonight? You getting into anything? He's like a 40-something-year-old, like Armenian dude. So he's like,
okay.
what are you doing?
How was his hair? Because Armenians are usually like my kind of hair where it's like
It
half
was
scalp.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
And it
so
was
how are you
like
getting your hair
slick
cut?
back.
Oh, okay.
But he like just moved here from New York like a few months ago, so it was like,
okay.
we
The
kind of have that in
genocide, I
common. Yeah,
Right.
the genocide in New York. And well, sort of. And so he goes, oh, what are you doing anything tonight? You going out to the clubs? And I'm like,
The
no.
pandemic?
Yeah, exactly.
What
I'm
are you
like,
talking about, dog?
I'm like, no. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, why not? What, you gonna stay inside? And I'm like, that's how you get sick.
Yeah,
And
not to make it clear. Did you ask him how many haircuts he's given to people who are going out to the clubs?
Yeah, it's true.
Well,
I
this guy's a
should've.
great go-between.
But so I go, that's how you get sick. And he goes, you can get sick anywhere. And that's where I was like, red flag.
Yeah. He's like, I've never washed these scissors once.
Red flag. But then he goes, well, where'd you hear that? And I go, the news. And he goes, oh, you think they're not just trying to make you scared? That's what they do. They try to make you scared, blah, blah, blah. Which I'm like, okay, partially, yes, but also like, no.
But I'm not having an Armenian haircut guy tell me that.
But I'm like, no. And he's like, come on, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So then
Science.
but then here's the thing. Here's the fucking kicker, though. You ready? And then it's quiet for like a minute. And he goes, yeah, so my dad was in the hospital for a couple weeks. He got it. He was pretty rough. He just got out. Now he's in rehab. He has to go to rehab for a month to like relearn how to walk and everything. So that was pretty scary. You also had a couple friends who got it. Pretty nasty stuff. Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
And you're telling me to go out to the club?
Yeah.
He's
I'm
like,
like, what?
You didn't get it at the club. My dad's in the DJ booth where he should be, behind the glass.
my dad was on the ones and twos.
He's like, there's no one touched his records.
Nothing wrong with the club.
So the club's fine. You know what I mean? He got it at the pizza place next
Actually,
door.
like, this is my dad's mix right here. If you like it, I
Oh
can send
my
you a
God.
SoundCloud. But so serious, yeah, he says all that, and then it's like, yeah, but it's actually devastated my life. So
you'd think it would change his opinion by now, but this is the politics of it all, isn't it? It's become just I can't say that. I
Yeah.
have to toe this line.
Yeah.
because
Well,
it's
at least he
silly.
gave you a good haircut.
no, it was terrible. So then I left and was like, what the fuck was? So first off, I'm like, never want to talk to that dude again. Never want him to touch my hair. So we're great. And then I tell my roommates, including Willie, and
That's why he's not here.
And then and then I tell a couple other people who've lived in that area where I went.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Unanimously, everyone was like, "Fuck that place.
Yeah.
Don't ever go there." And I'm like,
100%.
"Well, a little late."
I've seen, but this wasn't the place you went to for this haircut.
No, for this one, I got a recommendation from a friend who has very similar hair.
Okay, so a black friend.
Yes,
Okay.
half black friend.
Half black
And and so first off, I text the dude on a Thursday. I say, "Hey, do you have anything open tomorrow at like 4:30?" He says, "I can get you at 5." I say, "Cool." I show up Friday, the next day, at 5. He says, "Are you walking in?" I said, "No, I'm Elliott." And he goes, "That was yesterday." And I go, "No, it was today at 5." And he goes, "No, I said I could get you yesterday at 5. I was, yesterday." And I'm like,
So starting
no.
off great.
I pull,
Yeah.
Really good vibe.
red
I
flag
feel-
number 1. I
Yeah.
pull up the message. It clearly says tomorrow, whatever. And he
Gotcha.
goes, "Oh, my bad. I got you. There's someone in the chair that he's like finishing up as I walk in. So I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's whatever. There's no one else in there.
Gotcha.
It's just me, the dude that he's finishing up, this other guy. So I'm like, okay, cool. Get in the chair. He's like, "Oh, what's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, I just want, the taper, whatever." He doesn't argue with me. He's
Gets the
like, "I got
taper.
you."
He knows the taper.
I show him the same picture,
Gotcha.
which the picture is shorter hair than I've had, which I've learned now. I need to be like this, but don't cut the length. Just maybe just a little bit. So I sit down, tell him that. He's like, "Oh, yeah." But at the same time, it's like it's been 6 months since the last cut. But he's like, "Oh, yeah, this dude didn't know what he was doing. Look at this." And I'm like, okay, it's not that. Like at the time, it was, weird, but it's grown out.
He's
So
like calling people from the back. Yo, Henry, check this guy's hair
He's
out.
trying
It's
to
like a
get in
clown
your good
car.
books.
yeah.
It's like, what do you brush your hair with scissors? What is this?
I can't bring myself to do it. Isn't it? It's just too many layers. I mean, I know I just have long hair, and I'm like, I would love to get a couple inches off, but I don't want to walk in and have somebody in a mask and a face shield trying to you can't have any
detail.
depth perception and try to cut your hair. I can't picture
At
it.
least you guys have hair. I got the guy that looks like the watch guy with a fucking.
He's
the
in there
thing in
with
his-
tweezers. Pluck. There, you're done.
It's like it's not even like a chair. It's just like a workbench with like a one lamp, and he just puts your head in a vice.
Yeah, he squeezes.
Yeah. But no, so this dude, he's like, "Oh yeah," and he like does some quick shit on the sides. He's like, "See, that like looks better already." And I want to be like, "Yeah," because I haven't had a haircut in fucking 6 months. But I'm like, "Yeah," and he goes, not everyone knows how to cut curly hair correctly, which it's actually some of the
that.
easiest hair to cut, which I'm like, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But whatever. But I'm like, the guy who before me was like mixed as well. So I was like, okay, yeah,
Okay.
you know what you do. You go on. He's like, yeah, not a lot of people know how to cut it correctly, but don't worry, I got you, blah, 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 blah. Does the taper, bing, bow, boom. Then someone else walks in who he had scheduled because
He double scheduled.
he didn't realize I was that day. So then he starts working quick. which if you ever have a barber work quick, get out.
A lot of shit starts messing.
Yeah.
Leave right away because it's not going to be good.
Nah.
It's
Yeah.
the two of the worst things
It's
you could
not
have.
quantity over quality.
Two of the worst things you could have is a barber work quick or someone who's really fucking slow. Because then they're going to be going over the same parts and you're going to lose a lot of hair.
Yeah.
So he starts going quick, but he doesn't even like comb my shit out. He literally is like picking up curls and cutting them by hand, which I'm like, okay. But I also had a hat on, so it was all like pushed back. So he was just
individual
individual by hand,
just picking the
going.
curls.
Got this one and this one.
So I'm like, okay, and he's like, oh, all right, here we go. And he like shows me the back. The back is looking good. Like the main thing, I was like, I just wanted to get cleaned up, whatever.
Yeah.
So then I leave. It doesn't look like terrible. It's short,
Yeah.
but like what? I'm like, it'll grow back. I leave, come here to talk to Rashad, whatever. Go home, take my hat off, look at it in the mirror, and like fluff it up. And I'm like, this dude is even more fucked than the other guy because he was so confident about it. You're right, dude.
Yeah, dude, this is the.
This is the big reveal.
All right, it looks pretty short.
I can see the individual hairs that he missed. I can see it. Yeah, you're not wrong, dude.
Like fucking.
I could get a Flowbee from whatever that was, 1980 or whatever, and we could do a better job.
You want to see the craziest part?
Look, how did he miss that one?
Dude.
Look at how.
Oh my god,
And then right next to it is that.
dude, you look like you got whippersnipped,
bro.
I told my roommates were like, "Oh, it looks pretty good." I'm like, "This is a fucking rat tail."
It looks like you
That's
let
what
your
this
niece
is.
like cut your hair. You know what I'm saying?
wow. That
Yeah,
is-
but my niece is a. My niece is
It's like you just babysat your friend's kids. And they come home and you're like, I am so sorry.
yeah, get paid double.
wow.
The niece is a grown Armenian man named
Yeah.
Spike.
You've reinforced my haircut fear.
Dude,
And is this a different place in the
this was a different place.
So you're just you're just going.
Look at that shit.
Dude, you don't even.
This was how long my hair was.
The crazy thing is, you don't even have to pull that one out. I could see
Yeah.
that chunk. Oh, look, it's like you have antennas.
Yeah.
You do look like an ant.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fucking rock that. right there.
Dude, that's crazy.
Wow,
bro.
you pick up signals with that shit.
Dude.
So, yeah. Yeah, you'll be in your car. It's getting a better frequency now.
Picking up channels from Mexico.
Yeah, that's insanity, dude.
So then
Yeah.
I fucking tweeted about it. Pretty good tweet.
Did you
At least
tag?
you got something out of it.
Yeah, and I got about 34 likes. I'll take them.
Not too
and
bad.
and then Armando hit me up and was like, "Yo, I got a good
I got a
barber."
good- okay.
And he like cuts outside and he's like,
There
all
you
that.
go.
So I checked out his Instagram and it's like really it's on
Okay.
point. So I'm going to that tomorrow. If he fucks it up, I'm moving.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm out.
That's
or if he
hilarious.
fucks it up, we're gonna open up that Seattle spot tomorrow so I can fly back and get my hair cut.
I
'Cause
love-
I had a good guy in Seattle.
Yeah, I think it's tough in LA because I think there's a lot of shitty hairstylists in LA.
Yeah.
And, just like there's a lot of shitty of everything. Every industry everybody's
Yeah.
moved here for their dreams.
But this
or
dude
whatever,
was
and
on
then-
This dude was right by the store.
Mm.
He was on Sunset. And I was
Damn.
like, that's an expensive.
Yeah, I got my last
spot to
haircut
be.
on Melrose. It was a place that I liked going to on Melrose. But the last time I was there, I got like a lecture from this social justice warrior,
Fuck yeah.
woke guy who was
Nice.
cutting my hair, and he was slagging off Seattle.
Mm.
He was slagging off Seattle, and I was just trying to agree with him actually.
Just because you don't want to.
Yeah, he's like.
That's
he's
also
like,
the thing.
so-
You can't get in a fight with them while they have your hair.
So he's like slamming it. It's falling apart, and I just jumped in and went, "Yeah, I was just there too. I know exactly what you're talking about. We did a gig in some casino," and he goes, "That's classist." And he started lecturing me about how I was being classist.
This sounds like
And
the
I was
perfect
like-
Seattle
I was like,
person.
oh my god! And I could not wait to get out of there. I had to bite my tongue. In fact, I think of that moment because I wish I'd just got up from the chair and go, "Look, motherfucker."
Yeah.
You don't start slamming a city, and then I just tried to play along, and now you're slamming me.
Yeah,
And
that's
that-
rough. I
so
was
that was
in the Uber in Oklahoma. This guy's got like this amazing vehicle. He has like these lights all in it. It's a little bit too like the people that are too good at their job.
Yeah.
Like he installed headrest TVs, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting this one of those little video game systems so you guys can play like old school games." I'm like, "Bro,
Oh yeah, I've seen people do that.
it's like just drive me to the fucking
Yeah,
gas
yeah,
station,
yeah.
homie. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not."
You're trying to go to the gas station?
I don't know. Give me a fucking slushie and go home. You know what I'm saying? I just
Trying to
wanna
go to the Citgo, get a little
Get a
roller
little-
taquito, and then bounce.
smell a little Venezuelan gas and get the fuck out.
Just trying to huff some gas. Just park over there. They're going to
homeland.
come out and kick me out. I'm going to run back to the car. I'm a dolphin jump in.
But the dude that was the driver out of nowhere in the middle of this drive starts telling us about, like, he's like, yeah, the shutdown's pretty crazy. He's like, man, I mean, if Trump could blah, blah, and just starts going to this, like, pro-Trump rant. And they kept saying, like, to each his own, whatever you guys want to vote for. And I'm looking at my buddy. I'm like, well, we're not just, I was just sitting there, like, just laughing. Just like, yeah, that's cool, man. That's fine. And then he's like, oh, I don't want to, if you guys aren't into Trump, and kind of, like, waited for us to, like, you know what I mean, say anything. And we just didn't say anything. And he's like, no. Because I'm just saying, it's like, but it's like, you're a driver of a ride share.
Yeah.
How the fuck, like, what are you doing, bro? It's like almost as bad as being like, all right, so you guys pro-choice, or what's your goal
He
here?
calls the Trump campaign at the end of his shift and goes, I did what I could out there today. I just want you guys to know I had a total of 12 passengers. I let them all know the good word.
Leaves a voicemail, and it's just like just a rundown. Pretty light today.
Yeah, I think I got 3 converters. Most of the people were already for Trump, so surprisingly.
How old was he?
I mean, 50s. This
That's
old
the
man.
thing. I feel like, well, have you guys watched Rami?
No.
Not yet.
It's good. It's really good. There's a part where his mom starts driving for Uber because she's like, I'm bored and I want to make money. But it's that thing where it's like older people want to talk. And like, so she doesn't understand where the lines are between what you talk about, what you don't talk about.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of that thing where we're like so in our phones and shit, and we're just like, we're so used to it because we've had it for so long. We're just like, oh yeah, this is how it is. But with them, they're just like, oh, I just pick people up and
just tell them about my
drive them around. Like it's, it's way more personal. Where for us, we're like, no, it's a service.
Oh, bro,
it's
we got this one woman that drove us around the first day, and she was the best. She kept just going like, okay. Like she's one of those, like, awesome. I was like, she's like, what are you guys in town for? I was like, Gabe never wants to say he's a I'm such a dick. I'm like, oh, I'm featuring for this guy.
Say.
And then she's like, okay, like instantly. Then we talked about barbecue. Dude, it was the best drive ever. And Gabe just looks at me. I was like, I don't know, man. But it was to the point where at the end, she took a couple wrong turns because she wasn't done with her story. Because I'm looking at her map and she's looking at her map, and I'm like, she takes like the long road around. I'm like, you should have taken that fucking right.
People have to stick to bullet points.
Yeah.
Stop stringing it out.
Yeah. It's like Cash Cab. You got to look at the map and be like, well, we have 2 blocks, so I guess I got to wrap this shit up real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is
everybody
true.
could learn from Ben Bailey, baby.
And that's what I keep saying.
And that's what I keep saying. Well, on that note, that's been the Best Champions podcast, everybody. Thank you guys so much for listening. Shout out to everyone that watched live on Facebook and YouTube. If you guys want to support the podcast, check us out on Patreon. Just go to Patreon and type in Best Champions podcast. A bunch of the videos and stuff that we play on here, I throw up on the Patreon. Realistically, I throw it up on YouTube too, so who gives a shit?
Don't say the secrets.
The free ones on YouTube. Just subscribe on YouTube. Go to Mike Masilotti on YouTube and Best Champions podcast on Facebook. Shout out to Rashad as always on the 1s and 2s. And then around the room, Willie died. Just R.I.P. Willie.
Have you heard from him at all?
No. Hopefully he feels
the low rolling tire got him.
First of all, he still owes me $8. He paid me that one, and then he owes me again.
And then he lent him more.
And then I lent him more. I'm a fucking moron, dude. You know what it is? We all hang out, and it's so hard when everyone's like, "Who's paying for what?" It's like, listen, I'll cover it, and just Venmo me. Don't get Venmo.
Yeah,
I feel like
do you send a request?
No, but I send messages. I
request.
send text messages telling people.
You got to send the request.
Well, Willie, you owe me $8. Andy, you watched earlier. You owe me 32. So what the fuck is going on? What is happening?
Wow.
Welcome to the numbers hour.
Welcome to my new podcast, people who owe me shit.
Look at my new podcast. Yeah, Loan Shark.
As you're watching, as people tune in. Oh, hey, Rita, you owe me $30. So good to see you're still alive.
Yeah, so if you owe me money, please subscribe to the podcast.
Sure to subscribe to Patreon. What if they pay you back through Patreon? Would you allow that?
Ooh, Willie, pay me back through Patreon.
Ooh.
I would not mind that. I'll take Patreon.
What's your starting level on Patreon? I'm only just discovering.
For Willie,
Patreon
it's $8.
For Willie, needs $8. Yeah, mine's
You have personalized tiers.
$2.
$2.
That'd be pretty funny.
What?
If you had personalized tiers, but
This
it's
is
all
Willie's
for people
tier.
who owe you money. It's just
Just
Willie's
subscribe.
tier, and it's $8.
And at the end, it's something like Janet, fuck off. Or some woman.
Janet,
bitter.
$1 million.
Yeah, you stole 10 years of my life. right, Elliott GB, where can people find you?
Find me on all platforms at Grent Radish, GrentRaddish. Also, check out the Older Kids podcast, where we revisit childhood movies to see if they still hold up at the Older Kids pod on all platforms. Subscribe on YouTube. Smash that like button.
Oh, JJ, where can people find you, bro?
So it's JJ Whitesnake on most of the platformy things, Twitter and stuff like that. And I got some cool things coming out in a couple weeks. Got a new animation coming out, and been doing a podcast with Francisco Ramos. We're a few episodes in, but we haven't started releasing them yet. But so keep your eyes out for that.
He's Venezuelan.
He is Venezuelan. That's
where my family's from. Venezuela.
Oh,
he's like a huge and everyone that talks about comedy in Venezuela is like, Francisco Ramos. I'm like, I've seen him.
You know Mike Masilotti?
Well, Francisco and I are we're having a lot of fun doing it. We're hoping maybe because we're both immigrants, so he's that's not that that's the perfect. I'm the white Canadian kind, so I'm less of a.
You have
it harder. That's what you're saying. You have it harder.
He's less invasive to the American culture than Francisco
But we've been sharing a lot of stories about moving here and getting into American culture and stuff like that. So we're hoping to
nice.
Somewhere else. Yeah.
What's the podcast called?
It's gonna be called Stand By with JJ and Francisco.
There you go.
Yeah. And
thank you guys so much for watching. I, as always, am your host, Mike Masilotti. Follow me on all platforms at Mike Masilotti. Once again, sorry for the podcast, and bong boop. Here's your soup. Peace.
Bong boop, here's your soup. Boop, boop, that's your soup, player. Bong boop, here's your soup. Boop, boop, that's your soup, player.